Hi everyone, and a special hello to my 6G class. I hope everyone had a good weekend, maybe managed to get outside and get a little bit of sunshine in the garden or for a walk, maybe a bit of FaceTime. I know I managed to connect with some friends and family, which was good. It's not quite as good as a real thing, but it's a pretty good substitute. So last week in 40-minute maths, we did lots of Can You Go Quicker Than Mr. Gosling for starters. This week I'm going to try and incorporate some music into our starters. Anyway, that was the plan. But I just put the video on to YouTube and it has been removed. There's something to do with the content not having copyright. So I think it was to do with using the music that I was going to use. So I've had to remove the music part of the lesson, which was the starter. So there won't be a starter today. I haven't got time to do another starter. So you'll just have to do the main lesson today. But never mind, these things happen, and yeah, I hope you get on all right with the rest of it. Okay, so today's learning intention is, can I find the area and perimeter of a triangle, rectangle and parallelogram? And can I solve area and perimeter problems? And of course, there is the best in the business bonus questions at the end when they get super tricky. Okay, so just to start off, we've got some helpful hints. So first of all, to find the area of a rectangle, you multiply the width times the length. So 7 times 3 makes 21. It would be 21 meters squared. So the area is the space inside the shape, whereas the perimeter is the distance around the outside of the shape. So hopefully you've worked out that the perimeter of this rectangle, you'd have to do 3 plus 7. Then you've worked out on the other side, there's another 7, another 3. So add 7, add 3. If you add them all together, would make 20 meters. So you don't do meters squared for perimeter. You just do the unit of measure without the squared bit. Quickest way to find the area, the perimeter of a rectangle is to double the sides and then add them together. So you double 7, because you've got 7 on the other side, double 3 and then add them together. Although of course there's a nice little number bond to add 7 and 3 together there. So the perimeter would be 20 meters for the rectangle. Let's have a look at the next one. To find the area of a triangle, you would do you do the base times the height, and then you half it. So you do 3 times 12, which is 36. Half of 36 would be 18, so it'd be 18 meters squared. Common mistake with finding the area of the triangle is a lot of times people multiply the base with the length of the other side, not the height. So they do 12 times 8 there. That'd be wrong. It's the base times the height. And even if it's not a right angled triangle, you still find the height and not the length of that side. And then of course you have to half it afterwards. And to find the area of a parallelogram, you just do the base times the height, but you don't have to half it. And again, common mistake is people multiply the base times actually the side and not the height, so they do 7 times 4, which would be wrong. It'd be 7 times 5. But to find the perimeter, you could do it the same way as you would find the rectangle, where you double the sides and add them together. So double 7 would be 14, double 4 would be 8, add them together to make 22 meters. Okay, question number 1. So, usual drill, pause it if you want to crack it on your own. If you're not too sure, then watch and I'll go through and explain it. So, find the area and the perimeter of this rectangle. So, if you want to pause now to have a go, if not, I'm going to show you the answer. So, here's the answer. Obviously, the area is 6 times 4, which makes 24 meters squared, and the perimeter, 6 add 6 add 4 add 4, makes 20 meters squared. Number 2, find the length of the missing side. So this is obviously something times 12 makes 48. So hopefully you've worked out, if you want to pause now, if you haven't got it on your own, you should work out that it is 4, because 48 divided by 12 equals 4. So the missing side would be 4 meters. What's the perimeter? So the distance around the outside of a pentagon. So if each side is 6, you'd have to multiply 6 by 5 because there's 5 sides, and the perimeter would be 30 meters. Find the area and perimeter. So to find the area, you do the base times height and then half it. So 7 times 10 equals 70. Then you'd half that to make 35 meters squared. Perimeter, 7 add 8 add 10, which makes 25 meters. Next one. Again, you do the pause it if you want to have a go on your own. If not, you should work out that it's the base times height. So 7 times 5, because 5 is the height, not 6, and half it. So the area, so 7 times 5 is 35. Half of 35 is 17.5 meters squared. And the perimeter would be 7 add 6 add 10, which is 23 meters. Okay, so the area of this triangle is 14 meters squared. The base is 5 meters. What is the height? So we know to find the area of a triangle, you have to multiply the base times the height and then half it. So 40 is half of 80. So you need to think, what do you have to multiply 5 by to get to 80? And hopefully you've worked out you have to multiply it by 16. So the answer is 16 meters. Okay, find the area and perimeter of this parallelogram. So the area is base times height. So you should do 11 times 7, which makes 77 meters squared. Perimeter, same as a rectangle, double the sides and then add them together. So double 11 is 22, double 8 is 16. Add them together and you should make it be 38 meters. Okay, so we're going to bring in an element of problem solving now. So let's have a look at this question. The first part says, what's the length of each side of the square? So if the square is 64 meters squared, and we know that the square has got equal length sides, what number do you have to multiply by itself to make 64? Well, hopefully you've worked out that the length of each side is 8. Now the second part says, what is the perimeter of the square? Well, if each side is 8 and there's 4 sides, hopefully you've worked out that the perimeter is 32 meters. Right, so we are going to do a bit of an investigation now. So I'm going to read you the question and I want you to have a think. A rectangle has a perimeter of 38 meters. Its sides are whole numbers in meters. What is the biggest possible area it could have? So if you want to crack on your own, go for it. If not, I'm going to go through a few top tips before I give you the answer. So press pause if you want to do it on your own. If not, have a listen. So the first top tip I'm going to give you is to think about all the possible length sides it could have and test them by drawing your own rectangles to see which gives you the biggest area. So if it's got that perimeter 38 meters, what are the possible length sides it could have? Remember, it's a rectangle, and test them to see which one gives you the biggest area. My next top tip, if you still want a bit of hand, I'm going to get you started. So a good starting point, I think, if you're trying to find a rectangle with a perimeter of 38, a logical place to start is by having a 1 meter side, then two 18 meter side and another 1 meter side. Okay, that would be a good starting point. Test that, see what the area is, then maybe think about what your next side could be. Okay, I'm going to leave that down to you. Okay, so as I said, a good starting point is 1 times 18, which hopefully you've worked out gives you an area of 18 meters squared. 1 times 18 is 18. Your next logical step would be 2 and 17. Double 2 is 4, double 17 34. Add them together to make 38. That would give you an area of 2 times 17, which would be 34 meters squared. Let's have a look at the third one. Again, if you didn't do them in this order, it's fine if you just tested lots of different ones out. But if you do it this way, I think you make sure you've included all of it. So 3 times 16. Well, 3 times 16 is 48. So hopefully you should have worked out that it's 48 meters squared. So are you noticing a pattern? The longer, thinner rectangles gives you a bigger perimeter in a smaller area, well, gives you the same perimeter of a smaller area, and the shorter, fatter ones has the same perimeter but with a bigger area. So with a perimeter of 38, hopefully you worked out that the biggest area you can have is 90 meters squared. Okay, so let's have a look at the best in the business bonus questions. So it says, a field is enclosed by a rectangular fence 100 meters by 60 meters. It is now changed so the fence is a square. By how much has the area increased? So if you want to crack it on your own, you know the drill, press pause. If not, I'm going to go through it now. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work out what the area of this rectangle would be here. So 60 times 100 would be 6,000 meters squared. 1 times 6 is 6, and you've got 3 zeros to pop on the end. Let's think about the perimeter of this rectangle here. So if this is 100, this would be 100. If that's 60, that's got to be 60. Double 100 is 200. Double 60 is 120. The perimeter has got to be 320 meters. Right, let's think about this square then. The perimeter of this square is the same, right? So if you've got 4 sides, 320 divided by 4 would make 80 meters. So we know one of the side lengths is 80 meters, so all the side lengths have got to be 80 meters because it's a square. And 80 meters times 80 meters is 6,400 meters squared. So the area has increased by 400 meters squared. Okay, so next question. The shape is made up of 6 squares and has an area of 96 centimeters squared. What is the perimeter of the shape? So press pause if you want to crack it on your own. I suggest even if you want to just draw these shapes or things like that, if it helps, then go for it. If not, I'm going to go for it now. So we know the whole big shape's got an area of 96 centimeters squared. Let's count how many small squares make up that 96 centimeters squared. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's find out the area of one of those squares. Hopefully you've worked out the area of one of these little squares is 16. So if one of those little squares is 16 centimeters squared, hopefully you'd work out that each side is 4 centimeters. I'm going to have a go using the pen now. Grand, brilliant. Right, now we need to count how many of these 4 centimeters make up the whole shape in order to multiply it and find out the perimeter of the whole shape. So I'm going to do a little dot as I count so that I don't forget. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So there's 14 lots of 4. I'm going to do a little bit of a mental calculation in my head now. Quick way to multiply by 4 is double it and double it again. So double 14 is 28 and double 28 is 56. So the perimeter is 56 centimeters. Okay guys, so I hope you got on okay with everything today. I'll put another video on tomorrow night, Monday night, ready for you to do Tuesday. So apart from that, stay safe, be good for your parents, and I'll catch you then.